everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing another edition of my makeup decluttering series. If you missed the first one, I actually decluttered my foundations. I went from about 40 foundations to 19, which I know is still a little bit excessive, but you know, you gotta clear out some things, and I'm a huge foundation lover. Today I'm going to be decluttering eyeshadow palettes. And while I'm not the biggest eyeshadow wearer, I still have a crap ton of palettes that I want to share with you. So without further ado, let's get right into this decluttering. So I have the entire Urban Decay Naked family. I have all four of the palettes, 1, 2, 3, and Smoky. And one thing, if you're not very familiar with Urban Decay, is that these palettes are the best bang for your buck. They're $52 and you get 12 shades in them. All of them are very different, and I think that for the quality, pigmentation, blendability, the color range, they are one of the best products to invest in, whether you're new to beauty or a veteran. The first Urban Decay palette is my absolute favorite. This is my ride or die. I actually have a broken mirror in this one because it's traveled with me so much, so I guess 7 years of bad luck for me. But this is the most gorgeous color selection in terms of my preference. I'm a lover of golds, browns, neutrals, and then add a little shimmer. I am sold. The shade Toasted has been my favorite eyeshadow color since I started doing makeup back when I was like 13, 14. So this is truly a classic. This to me is the palette that I feel every beauty lover should have. Now the Naked 2, this was actually sent to me from a friend, and so it looks kind of funky, but this is also very beautiful. These shades speak to me. There's a lot of neutrals, there's some browns, there's shimmers, so I would say that this is definitely staying with me. And finally, Naked 3, this is such an incredible palette. This is so beautiful, so girly, so chic. All of these pink shades and then the darker colors to smoke out that pink are so incredible. I just think that when you look at this palette, it's hard not to think it's beautiful, and it's hard not to put all of them on your eyelids because there's just a fantastic color range. And then I love Dust, Burnout, Buzz, Trick, Liar, Blackheart. They are such incredible colors. So this one also has the same blendability that I found in the first Naked palette. So this is why I think this one is also incredible. Cannot and will not ever get rid of this. So now that you know that I'm not getting rid of the first three, you must know that I am going to get rid of the Naked Smoky palette. I have a good friend who really wants this palette, and I've only really swatched it a couple times, and I know she would give it more love than I, and I'm just not a smoky eye person. I don't wake up in the morning wanting to smoke out my eyes. I don't go out at night wanting to have a smoky eye either. It's just not really my forte. Whether you're new to beauty or you're a veteran, Morphe brushes is abso-freaking-lutely killing it. They are such incredible products for such an incredible price point. So this first one is JH, which stands for Jaclyn Hill. I bought that collaborative palette that she created with Morphe quite a while ago, I would say. The colors are absolutely incredible. You have these beautiful purples, this beautiful green, a lot of pinks, some darker browns, and then just brown. Whether it's matte, shimmer, these are just so incredibly beautiful. They're so incredibly pigmented. I honestly don't think that anyone else in the beauty game has done it as well as Morphe, and for the price point, it's not comparable to anybody. Kudos to them. I love this palette, not going anywhere. Now the next one is the infamous one that everyone has been talking about the past year. This is the 350 eyeshadow palette. This one was promoted by all of the amazing YouTubers like Jaclyn, Manny. This is just heaven on earth for me. As you guys know, I love browns, neutrals, oranges. This palette is just the absolute perfect one for me. This one was sent to me by their PR team last week. This is 35N. There's a lot of different colors. These are all mattes. They're all just straight mattes. There's not a single shimmer in here. So I'm gonna play around with this and see how I like it. I'm not the biggest lover of all matte eyeshadow palettes because I love the shimmers, and I feel like shimmers always kind of stick to the eyelids just a little bit better. So this is going to be interesting playing around with this one, but there's just so many fun colors. Like I love this pink, this purple, all of these pinks here, and then there's a ton of neutrals and then some darker colors up here as well that I can smoke things up with. So definitely not getting rid of this. I just got it. I gotta play a little bit with it before I decide if it's for me or not. Okay, so the next one is the Urban Decay Vice palette. This is one of the coolest packaging jobs I've ever seen. It's just so fun, so vibrant, so colorful. And when you open this up, you are greeted by a lot of beautiful colors. Very shimmery, very sparkly. I mean, this is truly an excellent palette with a little bit of everything. It really does have more of an EDM colorful vibe to me, like what you would want to have on your eyelids for festivals. So for that reason, I will be giving this one away to a friend. Last Urban Decay palette is the Gwen Stefani palette. Again, packaging is on point, super unique, super awesome and classic. And the colors are a little bit better than the one from the Vice palette that I just showed you. I like these colors. I just don't find myself gravitating to this palette. And I also found that the formulation of these is not necessarily the formulation that I see with the Naked palettes. And for that reason, I will also be giving this palette away. Another brand that you all know that I love when it comes to eyeshadows is Lorac. I mean, they are killing it in the eyeshadow game. My favorite eyeshadow palette of all time, you all already know, my grubby Lorac Gold. I got this during the holidays last year. This is probably one of my most favorite palettes. I mean, I have a lot, don't get me wrong, but this is the gold. This is all the gold that I would need in my life. I actually mentioned in one of my recent tutorials that this is the most incredible eyeshadow palette, and I think maybe even better for me than the Naked one. I mean, they definitely rock it out with this one. This is definitely staying with me. So the next one is the Lorac Mega Pro 2. I never got the Mega Pro 1, and I think there's a 3 out, but I just have the 2. This was sent to me by their PR team a long time ago, and I've used a couple of these shades, I'm not gonna lie. There is mattes and shimmers mixed in here. I really love, as you can imagine, the gold down here, the peony, some of the lighter colors, but there isn't really a true combination of awesome colors that I'm in love with. The ones up here at the top are mostly mattes, and I'm not the biggest lover of matte eyeshadows, so I've really gravitated to cinnamon and gold leaf and olivine just because they're more shimmery, and I like that consistency better when it comes to Lorac eyeshadows. So I think this palette will also be getting a new home just because I have so many other palettes. I can give something like this to somebody who is just starting out, or just one of my friends who wants a little bit more color diversity in their life. Another classic eyeshadow palette, Lorac Original. This one is not going anywhere. I mean, the Lorac Pro is an infamous eyeshadow palette. This really gained Lorac all the visibility and all of the credit the past few years. Every blogger, every YouTuber, every single person who was in love with beauty was talking about this palette. There is so much pigmentation. They are so creamy. They are so long lasting. I don't even need to use a primer with these shadows. It is just amazing, and it's also very compact, magnetic closure. I mean, it does not get better than this. This is also one of my top palettes in terms of Lorac Gold, this one, and the first Naked. Pretty sure those would be my top 3, but this is just incredible and not going anywhere. And then I also have the Lorac Pro 2 Go. This is perfect for traveling. One side you have kind of the core shades that you may need. You have the lighter ones for a day look, and then you can also smoke it out with some of these other colors. So you have everything you need there. There's a nice big mirror. And then on the other side, you have a bronzer and 2 blushes. So this is truly most of your makeup in one compact. I do like this. I don't really use this very much. I've never used this blush in here. I barely use the bronzer. I've used this blush a couple times, but I mean, in terms of the eyeshadow colors too, I haven't really touched them very much. I've used the chai color right here. Haven't used any of these, so I think this one probably needs a new home. In my most recent video, the New in Beauty, I talked about the incredible Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I'm not giving this away. This is definitely staying with me until the end of time probably, because this is such a beautiful palette. Yes, 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 yes. It's not going anywhere. I love it. It's just, that's all I have to say. Okay, so the next few palettes are going to be from IT Cosmetics. I have 3 of their eyeshadow palettes. I have Pretty Natural, which is the first one, and then Natural Pretty Romantics, which is the second one. I will say that these are not the most pigmented, long-lasting shadows that I've ever tried. The colors are beautiful. I love that they've imprinted IT into each shadow. I think that's really cool detail. My eyelids are very, very oily, and these shadows just don't stay on. It doesn't matter how much I prime. It doesn't matter if I have to reapply. It's within an hour or two, these shadows are just not really on my lids. And for that reason, I say that mattes aren't always the best for someone with oily skin. I need something with shimmer that's going to at least last and stick around for a little bit longer. So for those reasons, I'm going to give this to someone who has probably dry or normal skin. This next one is the Natural Pretty Essentials. This is nice travel size, so this is going to be really perfect for someone who needs just a little something that's very subtle and can just fit into their travel bag or just in their suitcase. Not the biggest lover of the IT Cosmetics eyeshadows because of the pigmentation, and my oily lids just don't mix. It's like water and oil. Just doesn't really work, so this is also going to someone. Next brand is Tarte Cosmetics. I have the Poppy Picnic palette. This packaging, super adorable. I think this was from their spring collection last year, and it looks like this. You get 6 shadows and 1 blush in the center. I have the same problem with these that I do with the IT Cosmetics ones. These are just not very pigmented for my lids. It's like water and oil. I prime it, I put translucent powder after, I try my hardest, but they just never really work on my lids. They swatch really nicely, but they just do not work on my lids. So for those reasons, I will also be giving this one away. Other Tarte one is the Rainforest After Dark palette. This one is very cool. I mean, the packaging is really awesome. I love that. And when you open this up, you're going to get a blush, bronzer, highlighter, and then several shadows. So you have a full face palette in here. I really like this. I will say that I've used these shadows before, and because there's shimmers in here, I don't think I'm going to get rid of this one because I love the gold, and I also love this purple shade. The blush is beautiful, the highlighter incredible, and I also like the bronzer. It's very subtle. So for all of those reasons, this one is actually going to stay with me. Their shit is expensive as fuck. So this is the Visart palette. This is neutral matte, and the packaging is super not luxurious in terms of how much this costs. So not a big fan of this little thing, but the colors are amazing. This is so long lasting, very long wear, very easily blendable. And I have to say, I feel like a true makeup artist when I use this palette, although I am not a makeup artist by any stretch of imagination. This palette makes me feel like I can create any look. And if you notice, there's a lot of orange and browns. You see a pattern here? I'm keeping all of my orange and browns palettes. Also more on the pricey side, this is the Marc Jacobs Lolita palette, and this is $206. This is a very special one. It's very grubby. I've been using it for a few years, but when my boyfriend and I first met, he actually got this for me as a Valentine's Day gift, I think our first Valentine's Day, and I thought that that was the sweetest thing because he knew I loved makeup, he knew I wanted this, and he actually went to my blog at the time, and I had a list of things that I just really wanted, and he found this and went to Sephora. He walked in there and bought this palette. I think that's amazing. So this one actually just has like memories associated to it. This next one is one of the quads from Charlotte Tilbury. The packaging is really nice, super cute. This one is called Fallen Angel, and they basically tell you how you use these shadows, like you smoke it out, you highlight, you do this, you do that. This is so expensive for the type of quality shadow that this is. I mean, I know Charlotte Tilbury is a super high-end makeup brand, but this is not as impressive as I thought it would be. I remember using this the first few times, and I was like, wait, is this it? did I just spend all of my money, all my piggy bank money on this palette, and it's not even amazing. I can't get rid of it, but I don't recommend you buying it for yourself. That's basically what I'm trying to say. This next one is Eyes Are the Window Shadow Palette from Stila. I had to pick up one of these because Hey Claire was raving on and on about this, and I always forget she loves the mattes. She loves Tarte, I think she likes It Cosmetics, and she likes Stila. So knowing that I'm not a fan of mattes, I probably shouldn't have listened to her. We have some more sheer ones, there's mattes and there's a few shimmers, so there's a lot of diversity and you can really work your way through this palette. I love a lot of these shades over here. This one just hasn't gotten a lot of love for me. I haven't really used this palette much, so I'm actually going to keep this and I'm going to do my best to try to use more of these shadows. This next one is the Clarins palette for colors, and this is for brown eyes. I just got this pretty recently, so I'm going to keep this. I've been using it just a couple times the past few weeks. This next one is the Halcyon Nights Full Face Kit from MAC Cosmetics. This is the collaboration they did with Ellie Goulding. And you get a nice mirror on this side, 4 eyeshadows right here, and then this actually kind of slips off to the side, and then you also have a primer. I'm not entirely sure if they expect you to use this as kind of a concealer, but I use this as a primer for my lids, so that's why I got confused when they said full face kit, because this isn't a full face. This is really for the eyes. So there's that. I think I'm gonna keep this and keep playing around with it for a little bit longer. It's Sonia Kashuk. This is the Eye On Neutral Shimmer Eye Couture palette. It's so beautiful. All of these colors speak to me. They're shimmery. I love shimmery eyeshadows, and the colors are beautiful. You can kind of see that the orange color right here has a big old dent in it because I used so much of it. I believe this is $20. So this is actually really getting into the higher end range as well, but you can get it at Target, so I consider this drugstore not going anywhere. If you ever see these at Target, I highly recommend the shimmers. I can't speak for the mattes, but I love this palette. This next one is the Made for Matte e.l.f. Cosmetics palette. I just talked about this palette in my new and beauty video, and not a fan. This is also the Water and Oil because it's so matte, not long lasting, it just doesn't stick to my lids. So this will be given to a friend who has the normal to drier skin type. This next one was such a nice surprise. This is from Revolution. I bought this at Ulta and I got the Redemption Iconic number 3. A lot of pinky shades. It looks freaking incredible. They're super blendable, super pigmented, and very long lasting, and such a great cost. I cannot recommend these enough to you guys. If you see this at Ulta, definitely grab one of these. I have the L'Oreal La Palette Nude 1. This one just looks absolutely beautiful. All of the browns, all of the shimmers, such a beautiful palette. Unfortunately, again, Water and Oil does not really stay on my lids for very long. I've primed, I've tried multiple layers, I've tried everything I can with these. It just doesn't really work for me, so this one will also be leaving my collection. Okay, so I just counted and I'm getting rid of 11 and I'm going to be keeping 19. Damn it. Let me know what your favorite eyeshadow palette is down in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. That really helps me out, lets me know that you like this series. I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone.